This is a lot scarier than I thought it would be, but I'm having a good time. Wrote my questions down. And
have they evolved since you've been here?
8 times, like I had 5 different questions, and then everyone got answered since the first day.
Yeah.
And then they kept moving, and I kept telling people what I was going to ask about, and then it kept changing. So even now, it almost wants to change, and we'll just go there.
Yeah.
Does that work? Okay. Yeah. My first question is about self-forgiveness. Similar to earlier, my relationship.
But we just had a whole conversation about that. That's all that was about. Yes. Self-forgiveness. You see, your inner being never forgives you because your inner being never condemned you to begin with. And so don't try to give up condemnation. Just segment intend for something else. Don't make a big hairy deal about forgiveness, because when you decide you're going to forgive, you dig up all the crap that you're trying to forgive. And then you just activate it and it slows it all way down. Just let it go.
And I usually do, and subconsciously.
Do you know why your inner being doesn't forgive you? Because your inner being revels in every single piece of life that you've lived and what it's brought you to. So all the contrasting things that you feel like you need to forgive yourself about, your inner being has seen them as the blessing and the advantage and the bouncing off place and the benefit that they are. Humans are so quick to see yourselves as unworthy. And that is the very first place where you begin to depart ways from your inner being, who knew from the beginning that you were going to immerse yourself into contrast for the purpose of the expansion. Because to know what you do want, you have to know what you don't want. And those pieces of life experience, what you don't want is as important to the evolution as what you do want. So to say that you're seeking forgiveness of yourself or of your inner being or of anyone is to say there was someone who saw your entry into a contrasting environment as a bad thing. And that the contrast that exists here shouldn't. Really? Your inner being would never say that the contrast that exists is a bad thing. That's like saying you should have no choice. God's got it all figured out for you, or whoever you think is there before you were here. It's all figured out, and you're without choice, and you must go forth and just be the same as you were before you came. It defies everything about your reason for being or your existence. Contrast is a good thing, not a bad thing. And if contrast is a good thing, then every contrasting experience you ever lived was a good thing. And if everything you've ever lived was a good thing, then who's forgiving who for what? It's a flawed premise. It doesn't exist. It's the basis of a lot of confusion. Even in the conversation we just had, I must forgive my family for whatever it was that they've been thinking about me. Well, you never are able to unravel that. The bottom line is, the reason you feel like you need to forgive is because you're doing something your inner being doesn't do. And your inner being never forgives because your inner being is never seeing contrast as something that you're doing wrong. Contrast is always something that you're doing right. Take that in. Contrast is always something that you are doing right, because out of it is born more, and you are an eternal being. So that would be like someone who's in charge saying, you're eternal, but everything that allows for eternity must not be. The contrast that is necessary for eternity is wrong. That's where so many, almost all religions have you, in that impossible place. You're eternal, but don't make a mistake. And if you do, then some arbiter will decide whether forgiveness is appropriate for you. Why do you make this stuff up like that? None of it is even logical, is it? There's no logic in that. So never ask for forgiveness again, and never ask yourself to forgive anyone again. Say, I'm going to act like my inner being. When I am as my inner being is, I'm whole and happy, and I am love. And my inner being will never forgive you, because my inner being always understood everything that you were doing. and knew that for the sake of expansion, that there was value in it. And my inner being only ever saw the value in you. And that's what I plan to do too.
Okay, definitely. To your point, I'm taking that in.
We know it's a big thought. We're asking you to come a long way because you've been forgiving and forgiving and forgiving and forgiving and forgiving and forgiving. And if you notice that a determination to forgive just brings a whole bunch of other confusing things to forgive, and then as humans, you divide this stuff into piles. Well, that's completely not forgivable. That's eternal damnation on that one. There's no forgiveness for that one. Ever heard that? Oh, these other things, they're more forgivable. And doesn't it twist your brain into a knot as things that at one time were not forgivable are now forgivable? Mm-hmm. Nobody sent me the memo. I don't know what to forgive and what not to forgive. If I go over to this religion, they were never bothered by that to begin with. They had a whole other set of stuff that they were bothered by. And so let's have a worldwide organization of, let's get this straight. What are the wrong things to do and what are the right things to do? Just tell us, we want so to be good. You sorted that out? No, every day you kill each other over that. Over your confusion about what's forgivable or what's not forgivable, what's right and wrong. That was good.